Sometimes it's not in the best order because I'm not great at organizing content currently. Anyway, he has just laid something very passionate on my heart that is different. And I love that because we are the hands and the feet, the eyes, the hair, the skin, the liver. We can't all be the foot. What would happen if we were all the foot? It doesn't work. So I just feel like my passion is just a little bit different because we've got to use everybody's strengths to help empower the body. My passion is very deeply rooted in becoming self-empowered. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself so you might understand this a little better. First of all, for those of you that do not know me, I am mother of 4 of the most amazing kids, adult kids, who are my very best friends. They're the only humans I really care to spend my time with. They're amazing. And Glammoss is 5 precious glam babies and 5 glam pups. 4 of them are pit bulls. So I was a paramedic for a long time, had a test of that, and loved being a paramedic, hated the system. It drove me crazy. It was killing me. Actually, the work schedule was killing me physically. But the people that I was taking care of, oh God, my heart just broke all the time. Because at that time, I didn't know a lot of the things that I know now, but I knew something was really wrong here. Why am I going to the same houses time after time after time for the same dang things? And why is their house full of junk and crap when they're in a coma on the floor because their sugar's bottomed out? And I would ask, is anybody teaching you why you have diabetes? Is anybody teaching you how to take care of yourself? Yeah, they tell me I need to keep my sugars up. I've got to have Snickers bars and orange juice and all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not right. And, and the psych, oh my gosh, mental health is completely not taken care of the way that it needed to be. Constant psych transfers to facility after facility, back and forth. Those people never got help. They got more drugs to help. Broke my heart. And the way that they were treated, I literally would cry in the ER, in the ambulance. I can't help it. You can read me like a book. It's just, I can't hide it. My heart broke for people. Anyway, a fun fact you might not know, even those who are close to me. I actually had an opportunity to run for Vice President of the United States just a few years ago. Yeah, that's what I thought. I said, oh my gosh. Well, you know why that was really important to me? Because since 6th grade, I was going to be the first female president because I needed to make a difference. I have always been that kind of person. People being bullied, I'm going to go knock the lights out. That's how I'm wired. I had a little brother that got picked on all the time. Anyway, so that was quite an opportunity, but I had to do a lot of thinking hard about that because you literally sacrifice your entire life to fill that kind of a role. It hurt to turn that down, but it wasn't for me, and it was also running as an independent party, which they never win, and my reply to Kyle Kinley Kapotke was, I don't want to take votes from the better of the 2 evils. I don't feel good about that. I couldn't risk. So anyway, that's kind of a fun fact, but that kind of shows you where this started back in childhood, and then the fact that I grew up with a less than pleasant situation, a lot of trauma and abuse, got into domestic violence situations, nearly lost my life 5 or 6 years ago, with my back broken, being strangled and shoved in a suitcase. So the healing process for that has been the last 5 years, and it's been quite a journey. But it has empowered me to where that will never happen again. It's completely changed my vibration and my frequency, because what I couldn't understand through all my healing and trying to get out of those kind of situations, my brain knew better. I knew better intellectually. I was a smart woman, graduated top A's, summa cum laude. I mean, I can learn anything. How can I end up in these kind of situations? So much trapped stuff. And my instructors would say, Sheila, you can't get out of that until you raise your vibration. What the frick does that mean? I know my brain says I don't want that. That's not what I want. It's not who I am. But yet that's my vibration, because you can't raise your vibration when all that junk is trapped inside of you. So long story short, God has been so amazing. When I want to go help people, He helps me. And He kept telling me, you need to be healed so that you can help more people. It's been an incredible journey. But I'm so grateful for Lauren. So what are some other areas that we've seen that lack of being empowered? So that for me was a whole lifetime of not being empowered having other people control me, and just that vengeance inside. What just happened through the last few years with COVID? Oh my gosh, that just cannot happen again. Watching people be unempowered, being denied care, being shut in, this was a huge travesty. It can't happen again. Let's see, I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. Okay. So when I came into Solex, was just a little over a year ago, and God laid very heavily upon my heart that I needed to be here. And I had just traveled to Arizona, which was 19 and a half hours, and I was like, I'm not driving another 19 hours. And he said, yes, you've got to be there. I didn't know anybody. I came up by myself, and I knew as soon as I walked in the door, I was supposed to be here, and I will never, ever miss this, no matter what's going on. And I work very hard to tell that to my whole team. They need to be here. But what I found was I was in complete alignment with another human being that had the same heart and passion that I have to empower the individual. And I have so many people that they are so scared to share this technology because they feel like they don't know enough. And I hear Lauren's voice so loud and clear every time. Keep it simple. I did not develop this for you to have to go back to school or to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to do that to use this. It does everything for you. There are lots of people that love the depth and all the geeky stuff about it, and that's great. That part is for them. But for the common individual layperson, do you understand how badly this world needs what we have? Do you have a problem telling people about a restaurant you just went to and they need to go? Do you have a problem sharing a great movie? Hey, we just went and saw this movie, you should go see it. Does that bother anybody? So why would it bother you to tell people about this technology that could change their freaking world? Seriously, how can it bother you or make you feel weird keeping that? It should make you feel weird that you're keeping it to yourself, because actually, and I'm not saying this to be harsh, but I've heard it said multiple times, you're being incredibly selfish, keeping this to yourself. Please do not keep this to yourself. Lauren worked so hard to keep this so stupid simple, because his intention is not, when he created that first original unit, $38,000, how many people can he help with that? People who are practitioners, who have clinics. Another experience that I had in another company was a very similar ideation where we're getting such amazing results. How do we get it to more people? It's got to be more affordable, it's got to be simpler, it's got to be portable. So this is brilliant. Thank goodness for some of the advances in technology. Okay, I've got another team that I visit with on Zooms a couple of times a month, and some questions they asked me 2 weeks ago gave me some really great ideas for how to share this, because their question to me was, they're all practitioners, and they're amazing practitioners, but their heart is like mine on the individual. How do we share this with individuals? They bring their new team members to our calls to introduce and ask me questions. And this question I thought was profound, coming from a group of practitioners. I just want to share some of my personal examples. If I was not a practitioner, let me tell you what I do as a layperson. So, my mom, an example. My mom just had her second heart attack. She doesn't do a lot of the stuff I try to tell her to do. But she will call me in the middle of the night, sick, running high fever. She's scared to death to go to the ER. For one, it's a long drive. We live out in rural. For another, she doesn't trust them. We've been through a lot of horrible things. People don't want to go there because they're scared to death of what will happen. So she can call me in my pajamas, in my bed, and I can pull her up, run a scan, say, Mom, send me a voice clip. And I can look at information to find out, does she need to go to the hospital? Or can we do some things to help her? Because you have enough information to make that kind of decision, I feel. And I can see, okay, these are some things that I'm seeing here. These are some things that you can do for yourself. And I'm going to build you a playlist, and I'm going to broadcast you some frequencies to help bring some support and balance. And by morning, every time, well, I don't feel like I'm going to die. I'm feeling much better. Not 100%, but we've at least gotten past that fear stage that we can manage this. Instead of, how many times have you personally or your family members had something going on. You didn't know what was wrong. You didn't really want to go there, but you didn't know. And what happens if you don't go? Who wants that liability, especially if it's your family? If it's my grandbaby and something's going on and I don't know, I don't want the liability of saying, well, let's not go. Thank God he gives me things, but you don't want that kind of liability, so you go. They run you through thousands of dollars of testing. Most of it's not necessary, but that's their protocol. It's how they're trained. They have to, okay? Now you're stuck with a big bill. And probably some drugs that you don't need. They're not going to work, and maybe they might help a little bit, but now you got a bunch of side effects. How much money was all that? So when my mom calls me and she's scared, I'm also scared.
I was going to say, you know, Scott just had his UTI kidney thing, and we thought he had a blood clot. That bill was $7,500. It was like 6 hours, if that. So, yeah, big money.
So when people want to complain about $149 a month, these are my stories because they're experiencing it. So they just need to get real about this, okay? So also my son has the 2 pit bulls, and the vet, again, is an hour away. The vet bill is pretty expensive, and half the time they don't know. Or they're going to give them a drug and say, well, try this. How much money and time? He's got to take off work. He's got to drive 2 hours just to get there, and no telling how long before they're running all of their tests. And then the bill. And nothing changed, usually. How much money do I save saying, okay, let me run a scan, because all my gland pups are in my scanner. Run a scan. This is what I'm seeing. Let's try this. Let me broadcast that. It's been successful every time. I'm not saying I don't know. I just know that I'm getting enough information to be able to offer some things. I don't have x-ray vision. I can't see and say, yeah, I think they ate something they shouldn't have ate. I mean, I can guess that based on some of the symptoms, but with the scanner, it's like, look at all this information that's telling me things that are happening and some things that they need. That's it. It's just information. But it's more information that we can get with any other kind of testing I have ever seen. And that's why Lauren says we have oncologists that use this, veterinarians, dentists, chiropractors, surgeons, physical sports medicine. I mean, they don't have a way to get the kind of data that we get. So you don't have to worry about the diagnostic part or the curing part. We don't have to worry about those words because it's not even part of this equation. What's another one? My grandbabies. We don't have anybody that we trust. I'm their primary care provider because at times where I thought I was failing them with something that I didn't feel like I was making enough progress, we would invest in an integrative medicine, a functional medicine. They didn't even know half the stuff that I knew. We never got anywhere, and my child got stuck with big bills. It's like, this is not going to happen anymore. So, see if there's, I had a really great one a few weeks back. So, those of you that don't know, I'm in a workout journey because I had gotten really bad at self-care. And because my heart is so much for people, I just want to help people 24/7. Well, the problem was it was killing me physically. And I started hating people because I just want to give, but I wasn't getting anything in, and that was my fault because I was raised that it's selfish. Lay down your life. So people take the Bible and they take all kinds of little pieces and they do weird stuff with it, and we've got it in our head. You got to deprogram all that crap. Let him tell you the truth, because he told me the truth. He said flat out, if you do not take care of yourself, you're not going to be here to help anybody else.
Amen.
Yes.
Please remember to put on your own mask before you put somebody else's on.
Don't wait till the pain's going down to take care of yourself. Love yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my new hashtag, love yourself to health. I put it on everything. That is my motto, love yourself to health. And that is mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial.
Yeah.
You have to have all 5. Because let me tell you something. Some things that I left out in my story. Working as a paramedic, I don't know if you all know what paramedic wages are.
Very, very little.
They suck. I didn't know that until I was halfway through school. And I about died. And it was too late now because God had already told me this is where you're going. I worked 3 hospital systems, 24, 48, 72-hour shifts, back to back constantly. I had 4 kids, and my youngest got severely neglected. But in that, those 4 kids were raised on the dollar menu at McDonald's. So I didn't have any money. And I was a single mom most of the time with no child support and no family support. So this is another point I wanted to stress. You guys know people And you probably have at least one, if not multiple pieces of my life in your own experiences and the people that you're going to be talking to and sharing with. People can make excuses or they can rise above them. You can be the victim or you can be the victor. And this is another thing that I'm so passionate about. With the stuff I've been through, I could be that victim and blame and, you know, pity party and stuff, but instead, God, I thank him every day for giving me that spirit of, we are overcomer. We are a victor. No one's taking us down. I don't care what they do to me. I'm not staying down. I'm going to keep getting back up. And that is what I want for everybody. But when you don't have money, you don't have choices. Seriously. Not many.
Yep.
That means that you're owned or you're controlled by someone else.
Right.
And the powers to be that like to control us and keep us under the thumb want us to stay there. They do not want us to be financially free. They do not want us to be independent because they can't control us that way. I'm telling you, our dad does not want that. He does not want that. He wants us to be independent and free. And my thing, those years of poverty sucked. It hurt my spirit because I did not like handouts because I'm the one who's supposed to be helping. And it broke my spirit to be in those places when my life was devastated and I had everything taken from me and I couldn't provide for my kids. It's another reason I love Lauren for keeping this technology as stellar it is at $149 a month. I don't care who you are, you can afford this. When you stop and look at where your money's going, this is the biggest, most important thing in anybody's life. But you cannot accept being broke and being in poverty. There's bad programming in here, probably bad training, there's probably stored trauma, inner voice. That's why that is our foundation and something Lauren stands on, because that is the foundation of everything else that we're doing, and that healing that has to take place to release us from those limiting beliefs and that settling for poverty mindset and scarcity mindset. It took a lot to release me from that, and abundance flows once that's gone. So using that inner voice daily. So that's another point that I just really want to stress, because I hear those conversations. My gosh, it's $149 a month. Oh my gosh. First of all, those of us QLAs that have any of those, if that resonates with you, or you're scared to ask somebody because you think it's too expensive and they can't afford it, you have got to release that. You have got to get rid of that limiting belief, because $149 a month is nothing. If you stop and look, do they have Netflix? I mean, are they paying all these other monthly expenses that are not doing anything for them? And especially when you're looking at someone that has a family, you can scan your whole family every single day. And every time you scan them, if you use Easy Scan, which is my go-to for everything, because you've got inner voice right there, they have 4 reports they can go read themselves that are going to give them a lot of information. It's going to give them some basic foundations they need to get underway, like you need to drink water, you might need a chiropractic adjustment, you need some sunshine, maybe you need some vitamin D. These are basic things they have to get underway before anything else is even going to be effective. People want that magic pill. They want this great big program that's going to heal them or whatever. Get your foundations in order first. And I love Inner Voice because any layperson can read that report. They don't have to be a rocket scientist. Listen to those harmonics. They don't have to understand it. They don't have to know what's going on here, but listening to it is going to start making the shifts. And then when the vitals is run, it automatically sends them back what they need to come back to homeostasis. They don't have to understand it. They're going to look at the report and freak out? I don't know. I just tell them not to freak out. It's just information. I don't get real consumed with it. And they don't seem to either, because that's the tone that I'm setting. So if you get nervous about that too, there's some shifts you need to be making. Release that fear. Release, because when you have that fear, you're attracting it to you. You've got to let it go. Quit making it overcomplicated. Quit feeling like it's going to stress people out, because that vibration, that's what you're attracting. Got to let it go. It's just information. It's nothing to get freaked out about. It's just information. But knowing, if you're working with a common lay person, stay-at-home moms, I love this because it saves them so much money. They're helping their kids in ways that they would never get help going to practitioners, and saving a crap load of money. They don't have to understand all this. They know when they run that report, They've got some information here that they can work on some foundations that they need. Listen to the harmonics to work on emotions, the vitals. They don't even have to read it. They're automatically getting frequencies sent back to them that they need, their whole family, their dogs, their cats, whatever. And then here comes comprehensive. Oh my gosh. 3 sets of balancing frequencies they just received by pushing one button. How easy is that? It doesn't get any easier. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. That's why every single household on this planet should have this technology, and it's doable. There's no reason why anybody can't have this. So in the self-care part of it, my journey, because of the domestic violence that almost killed me a few years back, it set me back 5 years on my plan. I had a personal goal of my 49th year, I was going to work with a personal trainer and get in the best shape of my life. I wanted to be able to pose in my 2-piece confidently. I've never been confident with my physical shell. And I wanted this because I remember seeing the black lady that was like 70 years old, and she is freaking buff and healthy and energetic. I mean, just looking at her, you feel that energy. And I'm like, that's me. That's what I want to be for people. My grandkids are going to think that I am in better health than their kids. And my great grandbabies that are coming someday, that's who I'm still going to be, because I'm choosing this. And then you see the little crippled up lady in the corner, same age. You're choosing this. You're choosing. It isn't a matter of age, it's what you're telling yourself, and it's what you're choosing for yourself. I know what I want for me. God didn't put us here to survive or to be crippled up in a corner. He put us here to thrive. How are we affecting the rest of the planet if we're over here with sickness and disease and letting ourselves go? How are we helping humanity? What imprint are we making on the world? We can't. Which is why I love Lauren, because that's his heart too. We are supposed to be helping to raise the vibration of the planet. So through that, instead of working on my physical shell, I had to work on the internal and healing myself so I could actually walk and function. I was literally 2 months from graduating my naturopathic program and taking my boards when this happened. So I had to figure out, first of all, how am I going to learn to be an entrepreneur? How do I learn to be a doctor? And how in the world do I fix my back so I can walk? In that also, I had spirit of fear because I had a traumatic grade 2 spondy at L4-5 that they had told me I can't run, jump, lift my grandbabies. Are you kidding me? Horseback riding, bowling, all the things that I love. I loved rebounding, couldn't do that. And then when I would lift my grandbabies, I paid for it for weeks. And they were little. But my back couldn't take the stress, and I was told if I fell again or was pushed over that I would be paralyzed because of that slippage. So that fear, my grandson, my oldest, would run at me because he was so excited to see me, and I would put my hand out to block him because I was scared to death of falling down. And then he'd fall down and hit his head, and now grandma's mean. This was horrible to live with, something that somebody stole so much life from me that God has restored. But through my healing journey, God had to release that spirit of fear. So I actually fly now without crying. That didn't happen before. I started my physical journey this last January. I hired a trainer. She's freaking awesome. I call her Badass Abby because she is badass. And all the other trainers watch her train me because she works me hard, but it's because it's what's in my spirit. I have to push hard. Started bodybuilding in June. Well, I hurt myself. She pushes me so freaking hard, and she makes me lift things that I should not be lifting. But it's because you have to push yourself. How do you know your limits if you're not pushing? If you're doing what's comfortable all the time, you're not growing. I need to grow. I have to be the best. I have to do the very best at everything that I do. Well, I heard something in my back. Went to my chiropractor after I ran my scan. I had T3 and T4 that showed up. T3 showed up as double 9s. T4 showed up as double 1s. So I took that to my chiropractor. He's an older guy. He does cranial.
Sacral?
No, biocranial. He does biocranial, untwisting the dura mater. He's freaking awesome. Been doing it for 40 years. So I showed him my scan. I said, so I think there's something going on with T3-4. He goes, okay. And so he was assessing me. He's, yeah, T4's out. I'm like, well that makes sense because 1 means no energy. If that's out, there's no energy. 9 means it's stressed, it's irritated, aggravated because it's trying to compensate because 4 is out. And I was like, this is freaking cool. I said, let me show you my picture. He goes, what is that? Do you see what you can be
Yeah.
doing? Seriously.
Mhm.
Your dentists need this technology. This can help your dentist in a way nothing else they have access to. And they are blown away when they see your dental scans. Your chiropractors are going to love it too. So, everybody you know needs this technology, whether they're a professional, a general lay person. I have elderly people. They have been sick for years. They've gone from practitioner to practitioner to practitioner. They've got a whole cabinet full of supplements. They're not getting better. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're sick and tired of going places thinking they're going to find somebody they can trust, and they're not getting answers. Well, for one, disease processes are getting more and more complicated. Life is getting more and more complicated. And in allopathic world, this is what I found fighting with my ER doctors. Most of those people do not go home and do their homework. They're trained, they leave it, they stay there. They're so far behind, it's sickening. And I'm like, you have critical thinking skills. You have a brain. I don't care that this is protocol. If it doesn't make sense, we don't do it. They're just in that box. So your outside the box practitioners are going to love this. And more medical doctors are thinking outside the box because they have seen for their own eyes how their system is failing people, and they're disgusted with it as well. They're kind of stuck. We need to help them. More and more of them are doing the things that they know are working for people, and they might say it under their breath and say, don't say anything, but I don't know if you've experienced it, probably most of you have, but more of them are waking up. And you know what I think? I think it's because we are doing so much work with frequency. We are raising the vibration of the planet, and we are helping others to be released. It's a ripple effect. It starts with you. And that's why, as a practitioner, I do not want to be the expert. I do not want to be the the person that everybody thinks they need to come to, because I tried that and it about killed me. Yes. And I started hating people. It's like, I didn't even want to get out of bed. I wouldn't answer my phone. It's like, I can't do this. Everybody needs something and I'm depleted. We can't do that. We need to empower the individual. Get them started with the scanner. If you want to do a 30-day trial with them, do inner voice, just inner voice with somebody. This is a powerful way to get the ideas going with them, because it may be completely foreign, but they're going to feel something. And keep that communication going. Answer their questions. If you don't know the answer, reach up. We've got the most amazing freaking team of people I have ever met in my life. And I thank God for this team and for this company every single freaking day. And I told that to Lauren last night. I cannot, God is here. You
Yes.
know. And every single person that he's bringing to you, he is doing this. I know that every person that comes into my team, he did that. You just know it. So please do not keep this to yourself. If you have fears, please work on those. Reach out to your team, your upline. This is why I like these group things. We need to connect. We need this. We need each other. We need to be able to learn and grow with each other. None of us know everything. Everybody's got such different gifts and mindset. Our Wednesday night calls, we've been doing since January. Every single week I learned something from you guys, from brand new people. Mm-hmm. Every single week. Nobody knows everything. You're never going to know everything. You can't wait till you know everything to get started. You got something. I'm telling you, I had 5 or 6 people signed up before I even got my scanner. I don't have to know it all. I know what I've got, and I know they need it. That's all you have to know. I also know Lauren's heart is keep it stupid simple. Yeah. Because the common layperson needs this, and they can use it very effectively. So please do not keep this to yourself.